good morning. I haven't tuned up yet, but I am about to do this now. So let's go ahead and tune up. I wanted to welcome you to another weekday morning, beginning our guitar journeys together. Weekday morning style with Jason here. I'm Jason at Jason Carey Guitar right here on YouTube, and I hope that we have a seriously awesome day today. My understanding is that we will. But first, what we'll do is go ahead and get tuned up. Hey, good morning, Sky. Good morning. Good morning, friend. Good morning, Kevin. How are we doing today? So I'm not sure how this is going to go today, but I have my metronome. I'm not sure if you can see this or not. Let's try to move this in a little bit. What do we have here? We have morning ritual for guitar growth this morning. Let's go ahead and see if we can dial this in. Just get things right. Do you know what I mean? It's going to take a second for this just to kind of kick. Sound is not as good. I thought that would probably be the case. Is it a little better? Let's go ahead and just get this kind of dialed in just for a second. Let's see what we can do here. We'll do a couple of things just to kind of see what we can make happen. If you wouldn't mind being patient with me this morning, that's great. I appreciate it. Just little tweaks at a time, little bits at a time here. And it's morning again, and here we go. I think we're good to go. I think what we'll do is call this almost close enough. Let's see if we can move this a little bit to get a little bit, shed a little more light on the situation. And we'll start by tuning up, and if you're just tuning in, this is, yeah, just baby steps. That's definitely how it works for me. And as you can see, I'm really working with, let's see what I'm doing here. Just a little bit more adjustment. Don't want to kill everything, but I just do want to get it right so that I can get the fingers working, and there we go. I think we can get close now. Good morning, Anthony. How you doing? So I wanted to talk today a little bit about, number one, tuning up, and number two, breath. Maybe number one, breath, number two, tuning up. I also wanted to speak about tritones today and why we've been focusing on, and why, I just want to meditate a little bit more today on why the minor pentatonic or the major pentatonic or pentatonics in general are just so useful in so many cultures around the world. Why they're so useful, and one of the things that we do talk about is what the pentatonic system is. But one of the things that we do not talk about is what the pentatonic system is not. So we'll be covering that today a little bit, and that will shed light on shed some light for me on why I choose to play notes from pentatonics even if I'm playing, you know, 7-note scales, those pentatonics seem to be notes that we select often, even though we're using major scales and minor scales and full 7-note tones. Adam, good morning. Good morning, sir. Yeah, I've been having some glitchy moments with YouTube. I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, here we go. Let's do it. Eruption. Something like that, so we're going to start. No, it's just fun to play, you know. I appreciate you asking about it. Let's start out with some tuning up, and then just going to focus on some breath and set an intention for this morning. It's a little different, the environment's different. I had to bounce to a different place, a different location this morning, so that's kind of what's going on. Robbie Smith, just noticed that sky, the morning sky. Oh, did I miss something? Jason's playing right-handed today. Oh, yes, I am, and I hope everything's going well with all of you. I hope everything's going well with you all. So I don't know if you can see the metronome click. It doesn't appear to be clicking, but it is clicking. There's usually a red, I can see a red dot on every click. That's good. I'm glad you can do that more better. That's good. 1E and 2, and we're here to warm up, so let's get going. Fingers 3 and 4, and we'll start with the stretches this morning, so that way we can get moving a little further along. 1E and a 2, and you know what to do. Hey Wayne, good morning. Yeah, we're just working the old finger stretches here. Good morning, Mark. So good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Sky. Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Mr. 420 to you. Adam, good morning again. Adam, Anthony. Just working with some new sounds this morning, so that it's taking a little bit of time for me to dial it in for myself. But let's go ahead and start with fingers 2 and 3, and 1E and a 2, 10 and 12, and here we go. Izzy, what's going on? Good morning. 𝗡𝗲, good morning. Mark, Sky, we can hear the metronome. Good. Thank you for the feedback. Top of the morning to you. We've got the Irish tea going this morning. A little bit of Irish black tea. Here we go, 1 and 2, 10 and 12. We'll get this thing going. We'll get this thing dialed back in. So 1 E and a 2 and a here we go. E and a. Just looking to spend some time with the guitar this morning. And if you're here, welcome to the morning ritual for guitar growth. I'm Jason with Jason Carey Guitar. So dynamically everything's shifted, so I'm in a new space this morning. Good morning, Jill, glad to see you. And if you're joining, I hope you have a guitar in your hands, and if you don't, we do this every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, or Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Daylight Time. And that's happening for the entirety of 2025. And the goal here for me is to simply just become a better guitar player. It's a really basic principle. A better person, a better man than the day before. And sometimes that can be a little bit tricky. A wee bit tricky. 1 E and a 2 and a TE and a 4, and we're still at 60 beats per minute. But now what I'm doing is stretching between fingers 2 and 4, and we're going for that 9 and 12. Here we go. 2 E and a here we go. Bernie, good morning. So we're just warming up this morning, just getting the fingers rolling, getting ready, preparing ourselves, our minds and our fingers and our bodies for a good, solid day in the guitar. And by visiting with yourself and your guitar in the morning, we gain access to insights and technical proficiencies that we wouldn't have otherwise earned. Good, here we go. 1 E and a 2 and a here we go. E. 9 and 12, fingers 1 and 3. Just super simple, super clean, super clear, super smooth. And I'm trying to remember not to, just to make it sound and feel like a musical effort. It's so easy for me to get lost in the everyday of it all. And it's so easy for all of us, for each and every one of us to do that. Life does grab us by the bullhorns occasionally and drives for a while. But this, to me, is like, it's like going to mass. It's like if I do this correctly, I get built up. And I get fed in so many more ways than one. So let's go back to fret 7 and 12. 1 E and a 2, and you know what to do. So hopefully everything's going well on your guitar, on your end of things. Just working the stretches. I've really enjoyed so far just working revisiting with the late great Ted Green's chord chemistry book in a series that I run here for free on this channel at Jason Carey Guitar. These finger stretching exercises have helped me personally to be able to obtain, you know, a certain higher level of comfortability with some of those wild chords. I mean, some of those chords are just completely wild. So let's go ahead and just take a quick look at what's going on. The Joe Perry stretch. Yeah, very cool. Because my mic seems far away, doesn't it? Yeah. See if we can get that worked out in the future. Let's move it a little closer. I don't know if this helps or not. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure, but you could let me know. 1EN, good morning, Emery. Good morning, Marco. Yeah, Lex, good to see you. Guitar for everyone. Good morning. And where are we at? Let's go ahead and use fingers 2, 3, and 4. 1E and 2, 10, 11, and 12. And here we go. It did. Okay, good. Excellent. I appreciate the feedback, Bernie. Yes, I am in the studio today. For what I'm using, I've got my guitar lined into the 𝗡𝗲𝗄 Symphony system, and then I'm doing a little bit of pre-compression and EQ there before it hits my DAW, and then I'm using the you know, just the Logic Pro plugin. It's the Studio Combo amp, and there's I've got a bus that goes out to Ascend, that goes out to Bob Clearmount. Oh, you know Bob Clearmount, and he was you know, a famous mixing engineer. I think maybe his wife owns 𝗡𝗄𝗄 maybe, or something like that. But he's got a Clear Mountain domain. Clear Mountain domain. So that's what I'm using for my processing, basically delays and reverbs. It's just a super simple, easy plug-in, but that's what's dialing in the tone today. And of course, I'm using my telly with a neck pickup, and so that's you know, a really great place for me to just sort of warm up with these fingers 1, 2, and 3. Let's do this now. 1E and 2, TE and 4, go. I'm a right-handed guitar player today for certain. Yeah, if you're here and you wouldn't mind smashing that like button, that's cool. Uncle Hendrix, yeah, that's right. Adios, good luck to you. Hey Emery, thanks for coming here. Well, we're here every weekday morning if you want to just come back and check in. So this is just one of those mornings where it's a little bit sort of different, and you know, we're pushing through, just pushing through here, just making little strides at a time, and focusing on every single note is sort of, it's really the the mission for me here is just to focus on every single note and the quality of the note over the quantity of the notes. So Dan, good morning. Good morning and welcome. It's so good to see you. And at least see your name and your avatar and your comments are definitely appreciated. So here we go, fingers. Let's go ahead and do this 1, 2, 3 exercise that we had, you know, sort of, Anthony Tortorello reported this as a useful one yesterday. And so we ran through and gave ourselves a pretty good little burn on it. So let's go ahead and do it again. We're starting on 9, 11, and 13. 9, 11, and 13. 9, 11, and 13. Oh, yes, we do have to do a little bit of a stretch. That's right. Good thinking. Yeah, Emery, good to have you here, man. See you later. Sayonara, adios. And here we go. So let's go ahead and stretch. Let's try this out. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it feels just like a stretch, doesn't it? And 15 or 16 clicks up, 15 or 16 clicks down, and then everything that I do on this arm, we'll go ahead and repeat. I'm going to beat then on the other arm. Yeah, this feels good. We've already been through a cycle, you know, cycles of, you know, yoga this morning at 4:30 or 5 or something like that. So it's a pretty good, this definitely feels good. You can certainly start feeling like we're rushing sometimes, but that morning stretch always seems to help out. It always seems to just get the mind right again, right back to where it needs to be. So thanks for the reminder. All right, Sky, let's go. Let's continue on. Fingers 2, 3, and 4, and we'll use frets 9, 11, and 13. 1E and a 2 and a TE and a 4. Good. One position at a time, and we're really going for it here. So really focusing on that stretch, that distance between, we have one whole fret inserted between each fingertip, and this makes for a pleasant burn right here, just a pleasant burn. Yeah, it does. Do any of you use the Eventide plugins, like the H3000 Ultra Harmonizer plugin in your DAW? I have a few versions of it, and man, I'll tell you what, it is so cool. I just got listening to, just last night while we were working down here, doing some things, we let some of, on Apple Music, they have a curated variation of Steve Vai Essentials, and I listened through that sequence of, just let that playlist just rip, and fingers are so 9, 11, and 13, fingers 1, 2, and 3. You'll be pleased that we're going to start that right now. 2E and a D and a 4E and a, yeah, so we looked at, I'm just blown away by how many guitar tones and guitar ideas and guitar themes, like Steve Vai, sort of an endless repository of, you know, inspired musical thought. And while he's, you know, neither, you know, a quote unquote fusion player or a jazz player, I think, you know, most of those chops could have been there, but his orchestration skills are really like second to none, in my opinion. I'm not sure how much listening you do to Little Stevie Vai, but it was an interest. Usually I just sort of consume albums at a time, you know, standalone albums. But when you hear all of those works kind of mixed about in a playlist, it just makes you wonder, like, you know how George Harrison had that gift to create good, you know, really cool guitar tone and really cool melody. Keith Richards is kind of another, you know, just create these really great masterful tones that are really memorable ideas. Just mind-boggling how many ideas just come one right after the next in the same song, the same piece of music. It's just mind-boggling. So that was a good stretch. That was a great stretch. So I don't know how that treated you, but I'm going to go ahead and continue moving along because I really want to explore today. I'd like to personally explore and give some time during my warm-up process to think about because we've been spending a couple of days off and on here and there, but a couple of days this week on pentatonicism. And we know we're learning, you know, I'm sort of starting to absorb like what is pentatonicism. But I also want to understand what it is not. So, you know, like good law shouldn't be generated to tell people what we can do. Law is sort of there to tell people basically what we can't do. Do you know what I mean? Especially when it comes to you know, punitive, you know, crime and punishment and that kind of thing. So it's I want to understand like what the pentatonic system is not. And it really focuses on only two notes. And it turns out those two notes are supremely important to our Western diatonic understanding of harmony. The harmonic experience is fundamentally laid upon these two notes that are weirdly omitted from pentatonicism. It's just something to think about. So I want to take a little bit of time to absorb that, try and move that move that ball down the field a little bit, gain some yardage on that understanding, just for my own person. And if you're interested in it too, then that's a bonus. Yeah. So let's go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Back to the warm-up. We've got another 15 or 16 or 17 minutes here, so I'd like to take full advantage of those. 2 E and a T E and a 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm not mirrored today, and I saw that you received your t-shirt yesterday, Jill. We got back through the comments and looked at, I miss some comments occasionally, and I missed that one yesterday, and I certainly appreciate hearing that. Hopefully it's a good fit and the right thing for you, and certainly appreciate your support and all of, I only mention you because you mentioned it publicly, so thank you. Did you get my message? I try to respond individually to everyone, you know, so I hope you got my thank you, my private thank you message. All right, we're up to 17. It looks like something like 17 likes. So if you're here and you're brand new to this experience, it's a little bit favoring of the growth and development mindset. Favors the growth of the guitar. So we call it the morning ritual for guitar growth. And we meet every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. because it's the start of my day, and this is how I choose to start this entire year, every single day, weekday, at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I really want to be here working the guitar and preparing myself for the day, and for anything else that might be coming my way. Oh yeah, right on. You have it on. Good for you. I haven't seen any videos, but if you're posting videos when you start posting videos on your YouTube page, Jill, if you could let us all know so we could check it out, what you're up to. 1 E and a 2. Let's go ahead and stretch the fourth finger. Here we go. 1, 2, here we go. 9, 10, 11, and 13. Mark's doing he's searching for gold this morning. He's got a little piton hammer. It looks like a piton hammer, and he's banging the piton into the wall. He's climbing the Dawn Wall in Yosemite or something. He's got a belay on, and his climber's going way up there, or maybe he's the lead climber and he's banging the pitons into the wall there. And you can hear those. I don't know if you've ever driven a piton, like an old piton, into the rock, into solid rock. And depending on what kind of rock you're banging that piton into, it's not really a good practice anymore to do that because it sort of damages the environment. But if you have ever sent home a piton into a granite wall, that sings through the entire valley, like it just sings when you set it home. It's the sound of freedom. But it's like freedom, it's at your own expense. If you don't maintain continuity and pay attention to it every little step of the way, you know, there's a mistake that's going to wipe you out. It's like the guitar. I really enjoy the guitar personally because it gives us a chance. It gives people like us an opportunity to be physically, mentally, spiritually observant of the thing. And that is so important now today more than ever. Well, I don't know more than ever. You know what I'm saying. You can take everything I say with a grain of salt or two. So let's go ahead and add that kickstand. We'll throw that first finger back. And if you're joining me today, I really appreciate you being here. Just wanted to take some time to express that gratitude. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 on frets 8, 10, 11, and 12. Let's try it. 1 E and a 2 E and a here we go. Hey, Emery, dropped in again. Good morning. What's going on? So is it bad I haven't played consistently in like 2 weeks? I don't think. Here's the way I like to look at that. That's a wonderful question, and I'm going to come back to my friend Craig Brand, and we had this discussion. He's been in Downbeat, Jazz Times, or whatever. He's a really wonderfully talented and God-fearing human being, but just a beautiful guitar player. And if you haven't heard his works, you can find him on Steeplechase Records, you know. And we were talking in university about being better than others or worse than others, and we both kind of like agreed that there's not really better or worse than, because we're all sort of setting our own intentions and our own initiatives and our own goal systems. So I think I'd like to say that we're all different, and we all bring something new and exciting potentially to the table. So that being said, like if we don't come to the guitar, we've been on outdoor expeditions for weeks or several weeks at a time, and then once in a while there's a Martin backpacker in the kit. Once in a while there's not a Martin backpacker in the kit. So you come back 2 weeks later and you're like sitting down with your guitar for the first time in a couple of weeks, and it's a renewing experience. It's like being reborn. It's hard to unless you experience it, it's hard to understand it. But it's like being reawakened and reinvigorated by the instrument that you love and and love so well. But it's a little foreign now. And then there's that little honeymoon period that you're working your way back through. So yeah, it's a great time. I really appreciate you you announcing that. It's cool. So let's do fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, but this time we'll use frets 9 and 10, 12 and 13. So we do put that burden on between fingers 2 and 3. Okay, 10 and 12 stretch over 11. So 9, 10, 12, 13. This is what's going on. Let it be said, let it be written. 1 and a 2E and a you know what to do. But I'm still a quote-unquote beginner. Oh yeah, that's a perpetual status. That's a perpetual status. I really, I think about like those mindsets that keep me sort of self-limiting. Each of us has unlimited potential. Let's talk about when Bob Ross, this is funny, because when Bob Ross, you know how many times I watched him on public broadcast at my grandparents' house? You have no idea like what he did for my little life. But he'd start every episode with like a, blank canvas, and then he'd paint, what was it, he'd use a white, he'd paint the whole canvas white just to get it kind of primed. Cadmium, I forget what the white was. By the time he's finished, he has a composition fully realized and complete in his mind in a half-hour episode. And he just walks you through the whole situation, all of his little thought process, his inner workings. But he had a composition in mind. He didn't just stand there and just wonder for eternity, like what to do, where to go. He had self-imposed limitations or restrictions. And that, my friend, is what I believe is the value of composition. Building something from nothing. Well, was it really ever nothing? I don't know. Maybe it was. Yeah, I've had students like that. I've had students like that, really highly skilled students like that just kind of get like physically agitated. Sometimes it's scary because there's so much like me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, boy, I can recognize some of myself in that person. And it's a real deal. So let's go ahead and start with fingers 1, 2. We'll go ahead and do the diagonal today, because this is loaded, and I mean loaded with tritones. So we'll come back to that word in a moment. Stick around. So 1E and a 2 and a TE and a 4. Sometimes on a break I come back stronger. Yeah, yeah, it's that Olympic rest that we all need. Breath is a huge part of that success, I believe. Mark, thanks for being here, man. Travel well, friend. Yeah. Go get it, man. Go get it. Until we meet again. Yeah, absolutely. Happy picking, friend. I feel like I'm starting to reach a state of warm-up where I could start, you know, playing the guitar a little bit this morning. I think that's kind of, I just crossed that threshold. Do you guys have those moments where you like cross a threshold and you feel like maybe you could start actually playing the guitar now? Yeah, let's try that. 1 and 2 bottom 4 strings. I'm starting with upstrokes here. Just had to look over to be sure I'm not going to run off of the guitar neck. Maybe all upstrokes. Good. All right. I think that lands us squarely at a moment. Still looking for that threshold, yeah. Well, I found it. I can email it to you if you want. All right, let's go ahead and just get a good stretch going because we're just going to warm down. This is a total chill session today, total chill. It seems like this week is one of those chill weeks. I'm not really sure what we're going through in the cosmos, but we're flying through something different, I would imagine. And if you're sticking around, it certainly it says something about your tenacity with the guitar. So just going through a quick stretch, we're going to totally chill with a revisiting of the tritone. And we'll call it the tritone. You know why it's called the tritone, correct? Do you know why it's called the tritone? Does anybody have that Harvard Dictionary of Music handy? Oh, you know what? I haven't seen Raul today. Have you seen Raul today? Hey, see you later, man. I always loved Jeff Beck's ability to play in between the frets, you know. Always so many more notes in his vocabulary. Let's take a look at C major scale. We'll talk about the tritone and where it comes from and why we leave it alone. Why do we not touch the interval diabolique? Yeah, the tritone, that's right. Try, I love that. Try it, let's try it. It's TRI, 3 notes. It's got to do with 3. All right, just got to get that stuff out of my system once in a while. So here we go. We have the this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the 1. And then we have the, what do we have after that? So we have the 1, oh sorry, the 7, the 6, the 5, the 4, the 3, and the 2, and the 1. Now what we're doing is we are going to take a look at the bottom tetrachord. The lowest note is C, E, D, and E. And then we're going to take a look at the top tetrachord. Oh, we have C, D, E, and F, right? And then top tetrachord is going to include G, A, B, and C. And if you lay G, A, B, C, and then C, D, E, F over G, A, B, C, they're exactly the same template, musical template. So here's the whole, whole, half, and then here's the whole, half again. And those 2 tetrachords or 4-note groupings are separated by that whole note between F and G. So we're talking about gravity. Once we get beyond this little heliosphere, we are no longer influenced by the sun or the sea. That's about as far as I can travel before now I move into this world of gravity, right? So I'm either going away from sea and coming back to this sea, or I'm going toward or leaving that sea. So the gravity works differently. So the tritone, let's see why that tritone is. The 4 and then the 5 are really important. So the last note in the last note in the lower tetrachord is F, and the last note in the I thought that might work, but it's not going to work. So the 4 and then the 7. So the 4 and the 7. Those 4s and 7s are omitted by default in pentatonicism. So instead of playing this C major scale like this, we will play the C major scale minus, the 4 and the 7. Overlooking the 4 and then up to the 5, 6, and overlooking the 7, and then back up to the 1. So we're not playing the 4 and the 7. So the pentatonic system is not inclusive of the 4 and the 7. It specifically omits those 2 notes. And those 2 notes, the 4 and the 7, can be a challenge to prepare and present in melodic format. So there's a lot of, there's the potential that we can play melody and sound like we're just playing through scales if we don't use rhythm and time. Or if we don't use some form of creativity or math or whatever you want to call it, break up the scale from its monotony of the linear scale. So the pentatonic format removes that immediately. It gives us melodic breaks. We don't have to deal with those 2 notes that are hard to resolve. I have to always remember where do I place that F? Where do I go once I play the F? Where do I go once I play the B chord, the B note? But so even though we're playing pentatonic, it does afford us the ability to play melodically more intuitively and more easily by simply omitting 2 sort of like potentially troubling notes. If we don't totally understand the function of those tones, melody becomes the door to good melody remains shut. So ask and ye shall receive, and so that works like this a little bit. And the reason why we're omitting this F and then this B, they happen to be so that F to G is a whole step away, G to A is a whole step away, A to B is a whole step away. So we have 1, 2, 3 whole steps. So that is where the name tritone comes from. So we have the tritone. And this is completely built like our Western harmonic system, right? And you can hear what's going on in just 1 second. I'll just share with you where I'm going with it. I want to start working on why is this so important. We have 2 notes that are hugely important in our Tao, in our way, in our musical sort of like, there's that shape, there's that white, and then there's that black swirl, there's a little bit of the dark and the white, there's a little bit of the white and the dark, and we're all happy together, blah, blah, blah. But it really is a nice little piece of philosophy to think about. If we are in the key of C, we start with the root note, which can go on a small excursion, but then with no experience, and little endurance returns home. Once we move further away, we build up some resilience or some extra gas in the tank. We ran out of gas the first time, we know we need to keep an extra 5 or 10 gallons in the rig so that we can go a little further. We calculate we don't want to break down, so we come back and gather more resources or rest. Or sometimes we can go clear by to Ray, directly to me, and then up to Fa. And it's funny how that works. When I go to Fa, that's as far away from home as I can go. If I take, I'm falling back to 1. If I take one more step away from home, I'm now in the realm of the next tetrachord in another gravitational orbit of this note. When I reach that leading tone points directly up to the root note again, or the dominant, or the tonic. So if I play these two notes together, you know, how many metal tunes are built using that tritone and that really, really wild sound of what it's just, it's not something that we just sit around and play, unless you're just, maybe Joe Satriani, maybe. So there's some weird stuff that you can do with it, but fundamentally, I'm hearing C as the home, and about as far away as I can go from home on the black end of the Tao, the dark end of the Tao would be G. And then I'm just going back from practicing to hear the root note down to the 5, which is a perfect authentic cadence or perfect cadence. So from the 1 chord to the 5 chord and then back to the 1 is really the root of where we're going here. Then you hear, we have the C and then the G chord. Let's put that dominant 7 to work. We have the flat 7 and then the 3 of the G chord. That's what I would be practicing, is listening to that F resolve down to E and that B resolve up to C. We're talking about 2 separate gravitational centers here. So one note goes down while the other one goes up, and that's beautifully contrapuntal or counterpoint. Contrapuntal, or it's beautiful counterpoint moving in 2 different directions, and that creates very interesting situations of tension and release in our musical system. So I would start working on listening to the G chord and then resolve to the C chord. I would just start working on hearing that wherever I could. Maybe we can do another one up here. We have the C, the G in the bass, and then we'll get more detail in here as we go through. But I think this is the beginning of our introduction to incorporating ear training into our morning ritual as a method of, just as a method of enriching our You know, we could have a lot of skill and we could have a lot of technical abilities and knowledge, but if we don't train our ears, maybe a lot of that skill is in vain. The thing about my ears, it's an antenna to receive the message so that I can translate it into useful music that can be pushed out of me into the world. So there we go. That's a good place to end, and I hope to see everybody once again tomorrow. And I certainly appreciate you being here and spending some time just chilling with me and talking a little bit. I don't know what methylene blue is. I'm not really sure what's going on. Don't have any idea what that is. I'm getting ready to start. Time to feed the hens. Getting ready to start working on the old macrobiotic diet. So just going through a cleansing process, but that will definitely influence my guitar capabilities. And anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. And until we meet again, I wish you happy picking. Thanks, Kevin. We'll see you. Thanks, Anthony. Thank you very much for helping out. Bye.